I have spent thousands of hours over the last 10 years diving deep into self development, into personal growth, into spiritual evolution. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 7 principles that I believe are the most powerful lessons that I've learned and that I implement in my life continuously so that I can save your time, so that you can implement this in your life, and so that you can accelerate the progress towards creating a life that you love as well. Okay, now the first lesson is so important, and it's something I repeat on this channel a lot because I know that a lot of you are not actually getting it. Okay, it's like, I already know that, right? But you know it, you only know something if you truly live it. All right, that's the distinction over there. So the first principle is that clarity is everything. Okay, and if you don't have clarity in your life, then the priority should be to seek out clarity. What should you seek out clarity on? First and foremost, what do you want out of life, right? What do you want? What do you really want, right? In all the different categories of your life, what do you want? Do you have crystal clarity on that? Because without crystal clarity on what you want, who you intend to be, what character traits are most important to you, what values are most important to you, if you don't have clarity on these things, then the next personal development hack, the next tactic, the next tip, all of this is for nothing, right? If you don't know what you want, then why are you even watching this video? Why do you read the books? Why do you go to the courses? Because the most important step is for you to get clarity on that, right? Clarity is really everything, man. Like, if you don't know what that next step is for you, it's like about getting clarity on what that next step should be, right? So getting clarity on what you want, right? And then it's like, okay, I know what I want, right? I want more money. I want better health. I want better relationships. I want higher spirituality. Yeah, we all want those things, but why do you truly want them? Right? Getting clarity on why, like listing out 100 reasons why I want $1 million in my bank account. That's going to be like the fuel for your motivation, right? And then, okay, how do I actually get there, right? What plan can what's that next step in front of me, right? You want to start $1 million business? Don't think about how you can generate $1 million in 1 week. Think about what that next step is for you, right? The next step is in front of you. It's about you taking that step or not. Clarity is the ultimate superpower, because once you have clarity on what is true to you, what is important to you, what you must do in order to create a life that you love, the vision for yourself, then all of these distractions, all of these comparisons, they actually fade away, because you are focused on what it is that you are here to do, what you are here to create, you are here to be. Getting clarity on that. And it's not about set in stone, okay, I have this clarity, that's it, I'm done. It's about constantly refining that clarity, constantly seeking clarity, because as you go and expand your horizon, you expand your perspective, you will be revealed to new ideas, new information, right, which you can then use to optimize your clarity even further. Okay, so clarity really is everything. And if you don't have clarity in your life on what you want, why you want it, who you must become in order to get it, what that next step is for you, right, then none of this actually matters. Self-development, personal growth, this just becomes another escape from the reality that you don't know what you want, right? A lot of us are seeking out distractions because we don't know what we want. So if you don't know what you want, just stop this video and get clear on what do you want, right? In the different categories of life. Why do you want it? Who must you become in order to get it? Asking these deeper questions is really the foundation, which we can then build on top of, right? If we're just trying to build on top of no foundation, then anything can come up, any new shiny object will come up, they'll topple your foundation down. Okay, so important. Now the second main principle over here is that identity is destiny. Who you think you are will determine who you become as well, right? So for a long time, I was caught up in the fixed mindset, right? Thinking that who I am is who I will always be. That if I'm shy right now, I will always be shy. If I don't have skills in business, then I guess that's just not cut out for me. If I am fat and overweight, oh, that's just my genetics, right? That's my identity, and that became a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Who you think you are will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever estimation you place on yourself is what the world will place on you. If you don't think you're valuable, that is going to be reflected in your bank account. If you do believe you have tremendous value to offer to people, eventually that will be reflected in your life as well. So your identity is literally everything. And an empowering paradigm that I have adopted in myself is like, who am I really, right? Who am I really? It's like, am I this body? Well, every single cell in my body is going to be changed over time. So I can't be my body, because my body changes, but I'm still the same to some extent, right? Am I my thoughts? Well, I'm not really my thoughts, because I can observe my thoughts, which means I'm outside of my thoughts. So who am I really? I suppose that is the great mystery, that is the great journey in discovering who we really are. But we can also choose to create ourselves in the vision of our ideals, and that is when you realize that you are both the audience, you are the actor, you are the director, you are everything, right? And once you actually have that, it's like, whoa, I woke up, right? It's like a wild horse, right? A wild horse is just going crazy. It's like your body going after its mammalian appetites to just survive and reproduce, right? I just need to get that quick fix. And then you wake up, it's like, oh shoot, I'm actually the rider on top of that horse. I can choose where I want this horse to go. I must train this horse. And that's like understanding that your identity, like an empowering paradigm for me really is like, yeah, my identity is just pure awareness, just pure consciousness that I can bring into focus on the certain areas which I want to grow in my life. And wherever I focus, that's what I'll get in my life. So what if I start focusing on how I can grow? What if I start focusing on who I can be? What if I start focusing on all the ways that I can make my life better? And identifying, like realizing that my identity is not set in stone. Like my identity is literally malleable, that I can go and shift my identity. And as I shift my identity, I shift my life as well. And it can be no other way, right? If you identify as someone who's lazy, who does not have motivation, who is not a high achiever, who is unintelligent, who does not have the IQ to succeed, that just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in your life. So you can write your own prophecy if you take charge of creating your own identity, right? Mind the dogs barking in the background. I hope that's not distracting to you, because it is to me right now. Okay, now the third principle over here is that environment is stronger than willpower. Okay, no matter how much willpower you have, your environment will always overcome it, right? You can keep chocolate around in your house and you can resist it, you can use the willpower and you can keep using your willpower, but eventually you will give into it. That's my experience, right? Maybe you are someone who is superhuman like that, but when we create an environment in which there is minimal friction towards doing the thing that we know we're supposed to do, then it just becomes way simpler than actually relying on willpower all the time. For example, you can wake up out of bed and be like, oh man, like I have to go to the gym, I have to go choose my clothes, I have to go take a shower. You can just like take out all your gym equipment. You can have your workout program ready, in creating an environment where it's like so easy to do the desired behavior, right? It's like, I think there was an example that James Clear used in his book Atomic Habits, right? His friend was trying to learn the guitar, so he would always procrastinate because his guitar was in the cupboard. But then he placed his guitar in like the middle of the TV lounge or his like whatever living room, and then it just became way easier for him to play the guitar because it's always in his environment. So think about how you can create your environment to reduce the friction towards the behaviors that you know you are supposed to be doing. For example, you can just not keep foods around in your environment that you know are not serving you, right? You can also just do things. For example, put yourself into a mastermind group in which they will hold you accountable towards doing the things that you know you're supposed to do, right? Masterminds are perhaps the most powerful investment that I've made in myself, because when we are surrounded by people that hold us to a higher standard, then we are that much more likely to actually live into that identity as well, right? The expectations of other people can actually lift us up or they can pull us down, right? So it's so important to surround yourself with the people, and people are part of your environment as well, that actually hold you to that higher standard so that you can consistently do the things that you know you're supposed to do, right? Environment is so powerful, and I can make a whole other video on how to create your environment, but just understand the people in your life, right? And then also how you can, like, for example, if you want to go to the gym, right? How you can reduce the friction towards going to the gym by, for example, reducing, like putting a pull-up bar in your doorway, right? So that every time you pass by, you do some pull-ups. So whatever it is, right? Just reducing the friction towards doing the desired behavior is more powerful than relying on your willpower all the time, okay? That's a huge one. Now, the fourth key principle is that your wish is your command, okay? So powerful, because I talk to so many people that are like, yeah, I asked them, like if you could just wave a magic wand and create your life in the ideal vision of everything that you would ever want it to be, right? Then they're like, yeah, I would be doing this type of work, I would have these type of relationships, I would do that. It's like, well, why aren't you doing that type of work right now? Oh, and the common excuse is, oh, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, right? And we're gonna get to time in the next one right now as well. But the thing is that whatever it is that you want in your life, you are responsible for creating that in your life. No one is going to come from the outside and grant it to you. Like, you are both the person who rubs the genie's lamp, and you are the genie as well, right? So your wish is your command. Stop making excuses. If there's something that you actually want to create in your life, then just go ahead and do it right now, right? Just take that first step. That first step is always within our sight, right? We think about getting to the mountain peak, and there's so many winding roads, and then we're like, yeah, screw it, I'm just not gonna walk on these winding roads, it's too difficult. But then when you focus on that first step, then you focus on the next one, then the next one, and the next one, and you gain that information as you go. Stop making excuses for showing up as your best. Stop making excuses for why you aren't where you want to be. Your wish is your command, and you truly take responsibility for the desires deep within your heart. That is when you actually wake up to the reality that it's not something that you chose, right? It's like those dreams, your deep desires, your deep hopes, your deep ambitions, they chose you, right? They chose you. And when you can step into that role, that is when life begins to flow through you, rather than you getting just caught up in the hustle and the bustle and paying the bills and all of this stuff. Yeah, paying bills is important. We have to put food on the table. We have to drink water. Yeah, I'm not saying that's not important, but your dreams are important as well. And it's your responsibility to create them, okay? Now, the next principle over here has to do with that of time. And I realized that balance is a myth. Okay, what do I mean by this? A lot of people are like, yeah, we just need balance. Yeah, balance is the key. Yeah, balance is the key to a happy and fulfilled life, right? But I don't think that balance exists, right? At least at this point in my perspective, balance is a myth. What do I mean by this? Like, what I have shifted from is trying to get that work-life balance, right? Because I look at the highest performers in the world, right? I identify as someone who's a high performer, who wants to reach the peak of my potential, who wants to do everything that I can to close the gap between where I am and where I know I'm capable of being. And when I look at people like that, when I study people like that, like Elon Musk, like Steve Jobs, like Tiger Woods, like high performers in any field, you can't say that they had a balanced life, because they were obsessed about their work. They were obsessed about what they were here to do, and sacrificed everything for that deep burning desire. Now, am I saying that you should just become a workaholic and you should discount your friends and your family and just focus on work and forget about everything else? No, I am not saying that. But what I am saying, or what I am inviting you to consider, is that life has these different categories, right? I like to break it down based on mental, physical, spiritual, financial, and social. So it's like if you were to imagine your life like a wheel, right, and these different categories as sprungs on those wheel, then it's like having an understanding of where that wheel needs to be oiled right now in order for that wheel to be flowing smoothly, right? So for example, if you have $1 million in the bank but you have a huge gut hanging out, then the sprung on the wheel that needs to be oiled is that of your physical health, right? So what I'm saying is that it's not about balancing your life, right? It's more about intentional imbalance of knowing where to focus your time and your energy in this particular moment, knowing what is the most important thing for you to do right now, and putting all your energy and your focus over there, right? We talk about time management, we talk about balance. What I'm saying is manage your priorities so that you can create harmony in the spinning of that wheel, right? So from shifting from trying to create balance to creating harmony in your life by seeing which category of your life is needing the improvement, and which category of your life that if you make that improvement would make the highest positive benefit in your life, right? So a great question to consider over there is from the book The One Thing by Gary Keller. It says that what is the one thing such that by doing it will make everything easier or unnecessary, right? There's always one thing. It's like in chess, there's always that optimal move, right? Understanding that if what category of life that requires your most attention, and then consciously imbalancing your life by putting your energy and intention over there, because you know that that will make biggest positive impact in your life, right? I hope that that is clear over there. If it's not, leave a comment below and then we can open up the discussion. But the next sixth principle over here that I've learned after 1,000 plus hours of personal development is the reflection is key. Okay, reflection is key. What do I mean by this? So many times I've looked back in my journey just getting caught in doing, taking action, moving, without taking a step back and reflecting on my progress, without reflecting on my vision, without reflecting on the results that I'm getting, without reflecting on whether this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing, without reflecting on where I am, how I feel inside, whether this is actually what I want to do, right? So this process for me involves writing, right? Writing in my journal and asking myself some important questions, and also measuring the progress that I'm making in the different categories of my life, evaluating the progress that I'm making in my different areas of life, right? So it's like the yin and the yang, right? It's like the yang is focusing, doing the work, going at it, going ham. And then the yin is actually taking a step back, reflecting, like taking some time for silence, allowing some ideas to flow through, getting an awareness of your emotions, so that we can actually adjust our trajectory, right? Now you can be going 1,000,000 miles a minute, but if you're headed in the wrong direction, you are going 1,000,000 miles a minute in the wrong direction, right? It's like the analogy of climbing ladders. You can be really good at climbing ladders, but then you get to the top, you realize it was leaned against the wrong wall, then it was all for nothing. You're actually worse off than when you started because you went off in the wrong direction. But I suppose to some extent everything happens how it's supposed to. You get to that point to realize that that was not the point you wanted to be. Maybe you had to get to that place to get that awareness as well. But reflection is something that has allowed me to get immense perspective in my life, and engaging in that reflection every single day, right? Every single day asking myself what went well, what was awesome today, what was amazing today, right? So that I can repeat that in the future. Also asking myself what didn't go well today, so that I can stop doing those things, right? And then how will I optimize moving forward so that I can actually implement everything that I know. Okay, it's a very major process in this journey of becoming all that you can be as well. Okay, now the final thing is that negativity is toxic. Okay, we are surrounded by negativity, and the truth is that life is tragic, right? People that you love are going to pass away. People that you thought you trusted are going to break your heart, and life is tragedy for sure, right? But there is also a lot of beautiful things in this life, right? Like sharing beautiful moments with the people that you love, doing work that you love, sharing a moment on a beach with one of your loved ones. Like, life is beautiful as well, right? So you get what you focus on in life, but if we focus too much on the negative is when we will experience more negativity in our life. Okay, there was a study I was reading between pessimists and optimists, right? So they said that pessimists are actually more accurate about their lives and about their predictions than optimists, right? It's like, okay, shit, so they're more accurate, right? But optimists are actually more happy about their lives, right? Even though they might be inaccurate about judging someone's character, they might be inaccurate about a certain situation, they might be inaccurate about a certain circumstance, but they are more happy in their lives. They have more of the dopamine and serotonin, like dopamine is good in the right doses, serotonin and endorphins and the positive hormones going throughout their body. Their chemical makeup is that of happiness, compared to someone who's a pessimist who just has those toxic emotions of stress, of anxiety going, even though he might be more accurate, right? So this is definitely an interesting realization for me, in realizing that, yeah, life is tragedy, and life is beautiful as well. And it just depends where you allocate your focus is what you will get in your life. So just, staying away from mainstream media, staying away from anything that's negative in my life, because that's anyway going to happen. I'm going to lose people that I love. I'm going to have my heart broken. That's part of life. But I can also create the space to experience and bring my awareness to that which is most beautiful in this life. Okay, so those are the 7 key principles that I continue to refine and optimize in my life. I hope that they serve you as much as they have served me. Leave a comment below letting me know what is the number 1 principle that you found most beneficial in your life. Let's open up this discussion. I love talking to you. Click the like button if you like it. Subscribe if you have not already. With all that being said, this has been Mo, and I will leave you in the peace and power of the one infinite creator, and I'll catch you in the next one. Much love to you. Take care.